Going righty. Peace, love, and black power, family. Welcome to another episode of Get This Wisdom Live. I am your host, Shakti Sterner, editor in chief of Get This Wisdom magazine. It's been a while since we have went absolutely live to you all, but we have a very special episode tonight. I am so honored, with this being what most celebrate as the new year of the calendar anyway. We some of us like to celebrate it in the springtime during the spring solstice, but for the viewers' sake, we will go ahead and say happy calendar new year to you all. I am joined tonight by a very, very powerful and beautiful young lady by the name of My Joy, the artist. And tonight we're going to be speaking briefly upon, our thoughts and more importantly, her thoughts upon the current state of the music industry and the music that the world is hearing and how that impacts the youth and what she would like to contribute to the paradigm shift of that. And I'm just really excited because I've had a few conversations with My Joy, and she's a very, very bright young lady, very, very talented. So for her to be here with us tonight is a very it's just a great gift that we are honored to receive in the form of My Joy, the artist. So, without further ado, Queen, would you mind providing a little bit of your history, a brief introduction of yourself to our viewers?
Yes. Hi, I am My Joy the artist. I'm a new and upcoming artist, so you probably don't know me yet, but you will. Music is very, very important to me because it provides a way to express your emotions and also to transfer your emotions and energy to your audience. You can find me on SoundCloud at My Joy, capital M-I, space, capital Joy, and Instagram at MyJoy underscore 12. And I'm looking forward to this interview. Very exciting.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for that. And normally before we go forward, I traditionally provide a brief disclaimer. As you hear, I have a child in the background. I have two actually, and they're here present, picking up some of the jewels to learn tonight. So if you hear me go off camera or go off the microphone for a couple of minutes, it's just me tending to my motherly duties, but I'm still very much present. So My Joy, you spoke upon being an up and coming artist and music being very important to you as an outlet of expression.
Hmm.
In the current times right now, what do you think about the overall current state of the music that's being played, mainstream?
Mm. I feel like in this era, we don't have as much real music as we should. Music people can feel, or that does something to your body other than make you want to go shoot somebody, or you know, on that level, I feel like we need better, yeah, better lyricism. Not better artists, but better lyricism. Yeah, I think a lot of things could be avoided, especially in society, because people are looking up to these artists. If we had better words coming out of their mouths, because yeah, they sound good, but what are they really saying? You have to really listen.
Indeed, indeed, um, to before we do go to the next part, I would like to say um, that tonight, actually, within the last few hours, that the hip hop world has lost one of our female artists and musicians by the name of Gangsta Boo, who was very influential in Southern hip hop. So we just want to send our love and healing energy to her family and give praise to our new ancestor that has joined the spiritual realm. And with that being said, My Joy just spoke upon there being a need for better lyricists and better lyricism. Um, in my mind, young queen, if I may add on, music is a universal healer. If one thing that everybody can agree upon, it doesn't matter what color, Michaela, quiet please. That's my daughter. one thing that we all can agree upon, no matter what race, what gender, what creed, whatever your background is, everyone likes music, right? If you're, it doesn't matter what you're doing, if you're upset, if you're happy, if you're at home by yourself, if you're in a village setting, camaraderie, 9 times out of 10, you're going to hear some type of music being played. So it's a healing factor. And what the Queen said with us needing better lyricism, definitely words are powerful. And in music, I share her sentiments. The current state of it, I should say, definitely can use some better choice of wording.
I agree completely. With better choices of wording, you'd have different moods coming out of music. And I feel like even some of the rap music is good music. It's just not, it doesn't put you in the best frame of mind. Then everybody wants to imitate a rapper or a different artist, not really knowing that those people aren't really like that in real life. They just make music about it because it rhymes. Hmm.
I had to pause for a second because I do have the little one over here. She wants to add on in her own little way with her vocalizing in her aspect. But Miss My Joy, if you could share with us some of the musical influences that you have, some people that directly impact you and your vision of music and where you would like to see it go.
Mm. Well, for artists, I would say start with the start of my music. I listen to a lot of Billie Eilish, and I practice a lot with her songs. Um, who else? Coco Jones, Erica Badu, Indie. Yeah, I feel like they have very beautiful music. So that's kind of what started me on the journey and kind of started my career off. I have a brother who is an artist and he has his own company and everything. He's a producer as well. So shout out to Diamond Productions. So I kind of grew up watching him do his music, and it just always amazed me to see him come out of his shell, to see the confidence it brings him, to see the joy it brings him. So I kind of wanted to try it. Once I did, I was, yeah, definitely understand this. Um, People who still directly influence my music. I have this friend from fifth grade. We've been friends since fifth grade. We were singing back then, and even to this day now, I'll record a new song. She'll be the first to hear it. Uh, I'm thinking about writing or making an album. So she's the first person to hear every song that goes on. She's the first person I write or send my lyrics to just to see if maybe it's not as good as it could be, or she could help me with it. But usually she doesn't need to. She's very influential as well.
Awesome, awesome. Sounds like you have a very well-rounded circle of influences, including family, friends, and those that are, musical professionals, if you will. We do have Reed's Learning Street and in the viewing audience tonight. Much love to Reed's Learning Street and Mama Cherie. I can't sing your praises enough. However, she did mention that the current music that's being played, it pretty much all sounds the same to her. And I can agree with that. Just to shed a little light on what is being done with the music and how it's being used as a tool to control people's mind and therefore controlling the spirit as well. We have to, just briefly, and this is something that you all can look into for yourself. Much noise recently has been made about the so-called Jewish community, if you want to call those people that, um, and their so-called version of a genocide that has taken place with their people, and I do emphasize their. Um, Hitler used a certain form of manipulation through music to attack. those people, if you want to call it that. Um, and it's basically, and I've spoken upon this previously a million times. If I've spoken on it once, and Queen My Joy, you may want to look into this yourself if you haven't already. When we look at music, it has different tracks, not just the words that are being played, but when we go deeper into the actual track production and creation itself, there are multiple tracks and layers to music that are created to form a whole song. And at the core of that music production, there are frequencies that producers use. And some of these, let's be clear, the majority of professional producers know about this track and these tracks. If they didn't, they wouldn't be doing what they do. So there's a certain track that is attuned to 440 Hz. That's hertz for short. That's a frequency, and that particular level of frequency, it invokes violence or lower vibrational feelings and actions, as my Joy said earlier, with the music making people want to commit acts of violence because it's done so in a very meticulous manner on an energetic level. So the most music that we're hearing today, mainstream, is attuned to 440 Hz, and that does invoke violence. If you notice, if you turn on certain music, you could be relaxed, right? You could be chilling, and then you turn on certain music, and your body automatically just starts, coming to life, if you will, or on a different way. And this is done strategically and purposely. So Hitler used this form of frequency attack through the music on his victims, if you want to call them that. And that particular motto was adapted here in the Americas to create the same type of energy that resonates from the youth. So, Queen, given that we have this piece of information on how music is used as a form of attack, um, in what ways do you think that we can provide the balance to those attacks? What outside of attuning the track to 432, which is a peaceful, calming frequency? What can we do to counteract that attack that's being, you know, initiated through the music?
I think with more vigilance, it would be a lot easier to counteract it. Just because for artists, being more vigilant when you're recording, the tone that you're singing at or rapping at, depending on the artist, can be very important that you're not being too harsh or, yeah, harsh. That's a good word. Um, and for the audience, I'd say be more vigilant with what you're watching or what you're giving more views to. If you're watching that type of stuff, then those artists are going to continue making music that way. Instead, I'd say speak up and speak out about the kind of music and the kind of mood it's putting. Once you draw more attention to it, there will be change.
Powerful, powerful. And how important is it for the youth to become more hands-on in the creation of music?
Very, very important. Um, Even if you're not, I'm not going to say talented, even if you're not vocally inclined, yes, you can still find a way to be in tune with music because everybody loves music. Like you said, everybody has some type of dealing with music, whether it be hi, whether it be writing music, that can include poetry, or it could be making beats. That could just include tapping on the table with a pencil, or producing music. I can be hearing someone else's voice and like, yeah, you should record that. It's There's definitely ways for us to get involved with music, and I think it's very important for the youth specifically because we're getting older, and soon we will be the we will be you guys. We will be the next generation to populate the world. And if we're not being more vigilant or we're not doing better, then our children and their children is just going to get worse and worse and worse. The music is going to get terrible. So yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with you. Sadly, being, where I am age wise and growing up in the early 90s and having my teenage years in the early 2000s, I can clearly see the digression, not the progression, but the digression of music, hip hop, and things that the youth are listening to. It's like it's literally mumble rap. You really can't hear what's being said. You don't hear a true message. You don't hear any uplifting or anything like that. And I was just watching I think it was a TikTok clip of Cardi B. And I'm not going to go into a whole Cardi B bash session, but I am going to speak on what I saw in the video and you know how it relates into, I would say, the mindset of most mainstream artists. On this clip, Queen, I was watching it, and she was playing her song WAP, and I won't say what those initials stand for. However, the song itself is very very graphic, if you will, and it doesn't really provide any positive imagery for young ladies and young queens and the youth overall. And while she was playing a song in her home, her young daughter, Culture, walked into the room, and Cardi B goes ah ah ah, and she's like hurrying up to cut the song off. So for me, what came to mind, Queen, I was thinking, well, if she didn't want her young daughter to hear the graphic lyrics in that music, why would she want to present that type of message to other children? And for me, it makes me think upon role models and those in the industry or entertainers being responsible for, the image and the message that they provide to the world. So could you speak upon, what that brings present for you as far as the leadership or misleadership that these entertainers are providing currently with their music and their platforms?
Yes. I think more that it's her target audience isn't for children. She's not making music for children. I think she's making it for one, the male gaze, because that's where the money comes from, and two, for younger females. However, she shouldn't be degrading us like that just because you're disrespecting yourself. I know she's not making it for her own for children because she has her own and she acted that way when Culture walked into the room. And I have seen that video, so I know what you're talking about. I I plan on being a better role model to everybody, even though I don't make my music for just one set of people. Um, it's more all inclusive. Therefore, I'm not setting a bad example to anybody, and I'm also not doing it in a way that's going to disrespect myself or my community.
Powerful, powerful. I do understand that, that certain artists, and I use that term very loosely in this manner, um, they make their music for certain target audiences. So their music may not be, for certain age groups or all inclusive like yours is, My Joy. However, when we are standing in a stage of social media, everything is so easily accessible for the youth. A big part of that responsibility does fall on the parents. Yes, we parents definitely should be more proactive and hands on with the monitoring of what our children are listening to and taking in energetically. However, when we look at these particular artists that know they have such a powerful influence over the youth. They see that the youth are coming to the concerts. They have their people monitoring the sales and seeing which demographics are buying their music the most. I would think that, some of us should have a higher sense of integrity as it pertains to the so-called art, because a lot of these peoples are saying they're putting out art. So I think we should have a higher level of integrity and responsibility of what we proclaim to be art, and knowing that children and young teenagers and even young adults who aren't, mentally mature enough to be really grown in that way are listening to. So I think that we should hold these artists and the industry, because it's a part of a bigger spectrum, Queen. It's not just the artists. The artists are usually like the just a picture. They're just a face, right? They
Hmm.
You have to look into the producers and the ARs and the higher ups and the owners of these record labels, like Kanye West was speaking on. I think we have to hold all the whole industry accountable for the destruction that they're presenting through the music to the youth. We have very inspirational artists like you spoke of, the Erica Badu's and the Kendrick Lamar's, if you will. He's more of a versatile artist. We tend to overshadow those people and glorify all these other people who are scantily clad in underwear. Well, we have children like yourself, or young teenagers like yourself, Queen, that's sitting back watching these people on TV at the award shows and listening to their music. And even if that's not a music that you would traditionally listen to, you're going to school and your classmates are listening to it, right? So now you are like at the front stage, at the front seat, in the front seat at the stage, taking in all of this stuff, and nobody's really saying anything. And when they do, like Kanye West, they get shut down by the so-called Jews we were speaking on earlier. So that's why we need vehicles such as this, and such as Reed's Learning Street, and so many other powerful platforms that are, for the most part, self-contained. They're independent. They're providing platforms for people and babies such as yourself to be that voice of change, because you, Queen, and people like you're going to be the reason why music, real hip hop artistry makes a reemergence and have a rebirth, if you will. So if you could, add on to what you would like to see change in music, and how would you like to see it grow in the next 5 years or so, that would be great.
I don't know if 5 years is enough time to for what I want to see. My vision of music. I think for my music, I'm gonna speak personally. I want okay, yeah. So I want there to be music with feeling, something people can relate to instead of what it is now. It's just yeah. I think in 5 years, maybe even 10 years, we'll have more artists from different backgrounds, not just those from the bottom, not just those who grew up in the top. There's just a wider range of people, more diverse, and I know there's so many people out here who have something to say, who haven't said anything because they're scared that they can't or that they won't make it or just in general scared. So I know I just want it to be more of a easier easier way to express yourself and help others relate to you. Give
Awesome.
yourself originality.
Indeed. I want to shout out, pardon me being tongue tied. Karmic Dynasty says peace to joy. I was
Hi.
Shout out to Karmic Dynasty though. That was a powerful, powerful broadcast you all did last night. I was definitely tuning into that. And we have Miss Shamika in the comment section, and she says, "Proud mom. Thank you, Junior Queen. I needed your energy today. You speak profoundly. I've been blessed by watching your growth, and your presence gives me strength." So we just want to, thank them for those comments. And if you would like to address them, you can also. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. So, Queen, with utilizing 5 words, if you could describe yourself as an individual and as an artist with the 5 words, what would they be?
Mm. I am talented. Mm. Okay. Talented, kind, intelligent, open minded, and outspoken sometimes. Sometimes.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with being outspoken. That comes from a space of strength and being courageous and being powerful in your voice. So don't ever let anybody tell you that it's wrong to be outspoken. What we need to do though with that outspoken nature is just to be, you know, have a little bit of discernment on when and where to use that voice. So I appreciate you for that terminology you just used. And if you could speak to any artist living or dead right now, what would you say? And who would that artist be first and foremost?
I have a couple of them.
Go
I'm gonna
right
start with
ahead.
Whitney Houston. Yes, I just have to know how she does it. She has so much power behind her voice, the whole song, and I have to know. I just have to know. Also Aaliyah, because she has range. She had a lot of range. Um, so I'd ask Whitney Houston what her favorite part about being an artist was, and how hard it was to make it to where she made it to. She was very famous, still is. Um, and for Aaliyah, I'd ask her if she wishes she'd still have been alive to continue to be an artist to see how far she'd have gone or how much she'd grow. Um, what other artist? Tupac. I definitely asked Tupac about his poem book. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but I'd ask him about his poetry and what got him into being a poet and to starting his own music and how hard that was for him, and if he was pleased with the way that his career led.
Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, definitely a good myriad of artists, if I must say. Uh, some people on that list I would like to speak to also. Like with Tupac. I think a lot of us would love to have the opportunity to sit at his feet, if you will. That's a brief saying we use when we're going to gain some wisdom from an elder or someone that's just sharing wisdom with us. And if I could, sharing a space with you, I would like to ask Tupac, as a visionary, when he made the song "Keep Your Head Up," what components added up for him to get that vision? Because what he spoke in that song definitely is something that is present today.
Hmm.
Definitely, I would love to speak to Tupac myself. So, if you were able to uh, describe what it takes for someone like yourself to prepare to create a song, what does that look like? What would it take for you to put together a song?
Um, I mean, it's not. It's really natural for me. So depending on the day, I can either hear a track or something that I like, start humming a melody, and then all of a sudden have all of these pages full in my book. Or I can start with just walking down the street, and then there's like a tune going in my head. I'll sing that, write a couple lyrics for that, have that bar, and then I'll get home, I'll write that down, and then I'll just keep going with that same flow, find a track for it later, then I have a song. It's not very hard for me. I do know that it is hard for other people, so I try helping when I can. Yeah.
And that's what we call naturally gifted, Queen. Some people, it takes entire process for them. I remember watching some the show called Diary back in my younger years on MTV, and they would have certain artists on there, and they would go through this whole ritualistic practice of what it takes for them to create a song. They would have to set the environment and you know, do vocal exercises or just stuff like that. So for it to come so easily to you, that's what we call naturally gifted. And you know, moving forward, you know, we went over you being an up and coming artist, you just getting your feet wet and getting involved with the musical realm, if you will. In the next year or so, what does music creation look like for you? What can we expect from you, and how can we support you in that way?
Um, a year from now, I'll have my album out. Yes, my first album will be coming out in May. That's the anticipated drop date. I'll have I'll have more stuff up on social medias and hopefully more followers and an audience. Um, Plan on being on the radio soon as well. Just have to get some more legalizing done to my music. There's a talent show coming up next Friday. Not this coming Friday, next Friday. I'll be performing at. And a play in the spring, I'm also going to be performing at. Um, yes, also, I'm going to have another collaboration. That song's going to be the first song I dropped this year because we've been working on it since last year. So you definitely expect to see a lot. Definitely a lot.
It sounds like it. So we have first off, let's go back to the comment section so we make sure that we're properly addressing our viewers. Miss Shamika once again said yes in the way of Rod Wave. You said that well, and you left out gifted. Your voice speaks to the multitude of starting with me. We have Reed's Learning Street saying naturally gifted. We have Miss Shamika again. Satan absolutely Pac is her favorite. And then she also said, this is Miss Shamika again. You are exactly that, naturally gifted, because you are a gift, and you will kill every event. So it sounds like already you have some strong supporters that's riding with you, Queen. And I personally got to hear some of your music too, you know, and I was completely blown away. So I will echo their sentiments, and you're definitely going to kill it. So the you said the talent show, right? That's coming up next week.
Yes.
Do you know how many other people are performing in that talent show? Did they give that information with you?
Yes, I think there's a set list of 12. I auditioned twice actually, once with the trio group, just some girls I go to school with, who I've kind of gotten close with over time. And we didn't make it as a trio, but I made it singing my own song individually. So I was kind of like, it was kind of bittersweet actually seeing the set list because I was kind of hoping I was singing with them because it's a lot easier to sing on stage with a group of people than by yourself. However, I was happy that I made it because I sang my own song and I'm still going to sing another song of my own. You know, it's a bit like
Nice.
flex.
And that just shows to that divine um that divine feminine energy we were speaking upon a while ago, and that kind-hearted nature of yours, wanting to see the other young ladies perform with you. However, Queen, don't let that put you in a position of holding back because they weren't able to step into that light with you. What you can do is sing with them in mind. You know what I mean? Allowing them, not being on that stage with you, as a even more of a motivational force to put on a show for everybody. And I am so, you know, I'm excited. Yeah, I don't know if you hear it in my voice, but I'm like really excited that you're getting ready to start performing and everything. And then you have the play coming up. Is there anything that you can share with us about the play? I know that some productions don't really like the participants to go into too many details because of, you know, that whole privacy factor. But is there anything you can share with us about the play?
I actually don't know much about the play. I can tell you the title is going to be changed, and it's going to be a very touching story. That's all I can say. You'll have to see the play in the springtime.
Awesome. So you hear that, ladies and gentlemen. You just have to make sure you head on out when they start promoting it and get those tickets because she can't really give us a little bit of a. I was trying to get a hint at what's going on, but hey, we just have to wait and see the show with everybody else. We have Karmic Dynasty commenting again. Saying peace to the platform. Apologies, I'm driving and received a link to this video. I was proudly surprised by Joy's image. Karmic Dynasty also stated that Joy's a dynamic speaker. Yes, she is. I'll echo those sentiments. We have Miss Shamika saying yes, her own lyrics. I mean, I'm all for it. We gotta get them, Jay. I love that name. It's creative. Uh, and that person says, love the level of expedition you place in your music journey. I have hopes in you as both an artist and a person. And Karmic Dynasty also said one light, one mic. And that, with Karmic Dynasty saying one mic, that automatically just brings to mind for me Nasir Jones, or as the public knows him as Nas, and he did a song a few years ago. I was kind of young myself, so you may have been a baby, but he did a song. Uh, I think it was called "I Can" or "I Know I Can." And he had all the little beautiful black babies in the video, and they were just, I know I can be what I want to be. I love that song as it and I'm getting emotional because that type of music is rare now, sadly. However, it had a beautiful representation of the youth, such as yourself, and it's such an aspiring and uplifting message for the future. And if I could say anything to you, Queen, and any other, you know, children, or I want to call you a child because you're a teenager and all, but the youth, if I could offer any words from my generation to yours and a means of inspiration as it pertains to creativity, I will say, Queen, don't let the world remove you from your creative power. Don't let the world tell you what your message is doesn't have a meaning. And don't let the world tell you that you're not powerful because you, my dear, we're counting on you. And you have such a great spirit, and I think that you're up for the task of wearing your crown. We are depending on you and the people in your generation to provide those vessels of creativity to save us, basically. So with that being said, we're going to get ready to wind it on down here. We did get a somewhat of a late start this evening due to technical difficulties. However, Queen, before we depart, I would like to ask you, do you have any final words that you would like to share, and anybody that you would like to give a shout out to? The mic is yours to do what you will.
Mm. Yes, I'd like to shout out the Lyrical Crusaders group at my school. They've been helping me branch out a lot more with my music, hence the new album coming out and the recording studio and everything there. Um, thank you all for listening. I do appreciate it, and I can't wait to actually go back and read all these comments and thank you all personally. Um, and hopefully, I'll see you soon on any of my platforms. I've already listed those off for you, but I will again. You can find me at SoundCloud at MyJoy, MI_JOY, and Instagram at MyJoy_12, and YouTube at MyJoy12. Yes. That's all though.
Awesome. Thank you again. I'm so emotional right now. Anybody who tunes in to get this wisdom or anything knows that I'm a big old crybaby. I'm liable to drop some tears, but I humbly do thank you very much for giving us your time this evening. We know that it's a little bit late, but we do thank you for sharing your message with us and your thoughts on the current state of music, where it needs to go. How can we be beneficial in supporting you and your endeavors? Um, I just want to say thank you for that. Also, thank you to the viewers this evening, and shout out again to Reed's Learning Street. Definitely check them out on YouTube and Facebook. They have the unschooling guide right now that is definitely beneficial to those who are looking to shift the educational paradigm within their children and in their communities. Definitely grab that, support that. Shout out to Karmic Dynasty again. Powerful information that they have to share with the community. And those of you who added on in the comment section, thank you so much for your time this evening. You guys rock. It wouldn't be a Get This Wisdom without you all. So, with that, we're going to end it with peace, love, and Black power. Thank
If
you.
I may add something real
Oh, go
quick.
right ahead, Queen.
Mhm. On Reed's Learning Street, you can catch my intro. I am singing the intro to the videos there. I believe the first one was the mind manipulation video. Definitely go listen to that, enjoy it, and watch the video because it was very informational and I learned a lot. That's all.
Whoa, whoa. See, now I got to go over there and listen to all that. See, thank you, Queen. I just got excited again. Again, thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We hope you have a great night. Peace, love, and Black power.